Hello and welcome. This is the Afrobeat cult. I'm Ohiomokhare, and today we're going to be delving deep into politics. It's not something that we do so much. It's not something that we do quite often. But because the current state of affairs demands that we get involved, we have to do it today. And we have been pushing out the promo for a few days now. And the issue is we're talking about dirty, ugly politics. Does it have to be dirty? Does it have to be ugly? We're going to take a different perspective today. There will be something of a debate. There will be something of giving of some level of clarity. And to help me do that today, I'm going to be bringing in someone I call a friend. He's somebody who I have worked with for quite a long time. I've known him for over 20 years, believe that. He's not just a friend. I also consider him a brother. As a very knowledgeable person, and he is deeply rooted in in a lot of the affairs of not just the Nigerian political scene, but also in the business and so much more. I will bring him on now. He's waiting in the green room. And we're talking about the one and only Emmanuel Ohiomokhare. Hello, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much. He's good to
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. And you? How are you?
I'm doing okay too.
We'll say hi is the diaspora.
Oh, the diaspora, the abroadians.
The abroad. How are you in the abroad?
Hey, a lot of the things that, we're looking up to you guys for quite a lot of inspiration, for quite a lot of information, especially now that for the past 2-3 years that so much has been happening to hamper a lot of access to loads of things that we usually have taken for granted. So we depend quite a lot on you guys who live not just in the countries where we come from, but also those that are in Africa and in other parts of the world. And what makes today especially unique is the fact that we're going to be talking about an issue that concerns us. We have literally lived through it in so many ways. So it concerns us, and it is something that I think we should talk about. So before we go into that, I for those who don't really know you on this platform or whatever, other platforms that I have been putting out, for those that have not really met you, would it be okay for you to give us a bit of an intro? Let's know who Emmanuel is.
Okay, Emmanuel Ohiomokhare. I like to call my full names.
Okay.
He's a broadcast journalist and media consultant right here in Nigeria, communication specialist too. I've been in the business of journalism and broadcasting for the last 26 years, close to 30 years, almost 3 decades now. And I'm currently the lead consultant. Some people choose to call it the CEO of SENEMA Productions Limited. I used to work with DAR Communications Limited. I was there for over 20 years. I worked with 2 banks. It used to be Standard Trust Bank and Assurance Bank. Both are of blessed memory. And I run currently. I also run a media school, which trains basically presenters, television hosts, and those production. And what else? I'm a father. I'm a husband. And I'm his friend. His brother, actually.
Yeah.
Not just his brother.
Yeah. So let's just dive right into it. Okay. I see that we've already started getting a few questions about what we're going to be talking about today. So essentially I see Charles Bassey, I see you right now. Charles is asking, what's the topic? Well, the topic today is about politics in Nigeria. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter where you find a Nigerian, right? One thing that Nigerians are very good at is talking about politics. Politics, politics, politics. If they're not talking football, they're talking politics. Now, this is what happens. In 2023, we have the elections coming up, right?
Yeah.
Yes. We're talking about the presidential elections, aren't we?
Yes, actually, the general elections, not just the presidential elections. We
Okay.
have governorship, House of Reps,
Okay.
Senate.
Yeah.
So it's a general election.
Okay. So it is supposed to be massive. So we're talking about all these tiers of governance, right? Presidential governors elections. They're voting new governors in, and those that are there that want to still remain.
I think for most of the states.
Yeah, for most of the states. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's delve right into it now. The big question a lot of us who are currently not in Nigeria is, what are we supposed to be expecting from Nigeria when it comes to 2023?
You may have to repeat that question because your
The audio,
video froze. Wow.
yes, while it was going. So
Probably repeat the question again.
okay. So I'm asking, hopefully you can hear me now. What I'm asking is, yes, can you hear me still?
Can you hear me?
I can. Yes, I can. Yes. Okay. So let's just delve right into it now. So what are we to expect in 2023 when it comes to all these tiers of elections? Did I cut across to you? Did you get it? Okay. Yeah, it seems as if we're having a bit of an issue with the transmission. This is definitely prime time, so oftentimes this there's a lag between us and Nigeria. So I will repeat the question again. Emmanuel, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Emmanuel? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. What are we to expect in 2023 when it comes to the elections?
What are we to expect in 23? What are we to expect in 2023? In fairness, I don't know. It's as wonderful as that. Really don't know what we should expect in 2023. I hope you can see me
Yes.
because the pictures keep freezing. You know, the truth is there are so many factors that are going to affect the 2023 elections. The economy is going to affect the state of the economy is going to affect the 2023 elections. The state of security is going to affect the 2023 elections. The perception of Nigerians is going to affect the 2023 elections. So it's a lot actually. So when you say what do we expect, I don't know if the 2023 elections will take place because there have been fears that we may not be able to have, and of course, no wonder an erudite is SAN. For those who are SAN is the senior advocate of Nigeria. Erudite SAN Afe Babalola said recently that after May 29, 2023, we should have an interim government.
Okay.
Because they are not sure. There is really no assurance. So, in other words, don't plan for an election.
Okay.
We should have an interim government. And the truth is, we are all looking forward to having an election. And Nigerians are very religious people, and we'll say we'll pray. We'll pray that God will allow us have an election, considering the state of the country right now, which is very precarious.
When you say state of the country, what do you mean exactly? What is the state of the country?
You know, I'm in Abuja right now.
Yep.
You and I are from Edo State. I mean, in those days, I used to travel by road to Edo. In fact, I am actually supposed to go to Ekiti tomorrow. There's nothing wrong in going to Ekiti tomorrow for what I'm going to. I'm going for a burial in Ekiti tomorrow. But guess what? I can't go by road because just today I buried a 27-year-old young friend
Okay.
that went on that same road and was
Yeah.
shot by kidnappers.
Wow.
And so, is air really safe? You ask yourself. Just yesterday in Kaduna, 2 young people died. 2 young pilots died in an Air Force helicopter crash. It was a jet, actually, not even a
Yeah.
helicopter.
Yeah, I
A
saw that in the
jet
news.
crash. Yes. So when you talk about people are asking, did that crash just happen on its own? There have been too many crashes within that Kaduna zone. The last one before this, we found out that it was shot down by Boko Haram.
Wow.
On the roads, you can't travel by train. Of course, you know that the trains were attacked and bombed. You can't even.
Okay, I guess your line is freezing. We have for some reason we seem to be having a lot of people wanting to join the broadcast.
Internet challenges, I see.
Yes, and this is the situation. This is probably one of the issues that Nigeria has to also deal with, I guess, right? Okay, so let's dig into the elections itself. Let's dig into governance itself. Okay. Some people believe that the current leader, the current president, is just putting up a farce, that he's not leaving.
The man is tired. Okay. He doesn't have any other thing to offer. He's tired. If you tell him to leave today, if he could leave today, if the law expected him to leave today, he would leave. And
how are you so sure?
He knows that Nigerians are tired of him. I have a feeling he knows that Nigerians are tired. So he's going to leave. Forget about that. The man will leave.
Okay.
But what happens before he even leaves? Will the elections hold? What will happen after the elections? In 2011, the man contested elections. Yeah. And I know he lost to President Goodluck Jonathan at that time. And I mean, there was mayhem in the north. Now, if such a thing will come, because the country has never been this divided as it is right now.
Okay.
Bishop Kuka said this not too long ago in his Easter message. And all the presidency could come out with is to say that the message was very unchristian.
Oh, okay.
And telling Bishop Kuka he should face his religious. I mean, why is it? Is there, except the person is blind or deaf? The person, what we're facing in Nigeria is no one has ever seen it before. The country is more divided than it has ever been, both in religious, by religious lines, ethnic lines, tribal lines. I mean, the class. And some of us, I mean, some people in Nigeria actually feel they are second-class citizens. And they are Nigerians, full-blooded Nigerians. They feel they are second-class citizens. And that is because of the way that things have turned out in recent times, in the last 7 years.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is that his leadership is a failure.
Terrible failure. Terrible failure. I couldn't have said it less.
Okay. So with the number, I see that there are quite a number of people who are vying to replace him. Are there any candidates that are worthy based on the experience that you've had, based on the feedback that you're giving me now? Are there candidates that you think are worthy of making these needed changes within society?
You see, what I may say may shock a lot of people. Yes, there are candidates that
Okay.
I see. Yes, there are candidates. And I think that Nigerians need to learn a lesson that this is not about, in the United States, you have the Republicans and the Democrats.
Yes.
In Nigeria, you have PDP and APC. They are the two major parties. Of course, we
Yeah.
have smaller parties.
Mm-hmm.
But Nigerians should learn that in the coming elections, we shouldn't be looking, because that is what Nigerians are still depending on. I'm happy you asked, are there few individuals? You didn't ask, which party do we think will win?
Okay.
You asked about the individuals. And that is what we should be looking at. We should be looking at individuals. I think the picture.
Yeah, just go ahead. Yeah, just go ahead. It stutters, but we just have to continue with this. It's stuttering, but we just have to continue. Yeah, it's a freeze.
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You're loud and
Okay.
clear.
Now you're back on.
Yes.
I don't know where I was lost in the whole.
We were talking about the fact that it's not about the parties, but it's about the individuals, especially
yes,
in
about
the
the
country.
individuals. And I'm happy you asked about the individuals. And yes, there are individuals. In fact, I feel, based on feelers I have gotten, there are two candidates that there are some few candidates. Let me not say two.
Yeah.
There are few candidates that could stand, and one of them is Kingsley Moghalu, who is he contested in 2019, and he is contesting right now.
Currently,
he's a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and he's someone who is a good candidate.
Yeah.
He, to some extent, knows the economy of Nigeria.
Okay.
Then, of course, we have Peter Obi. Of course, we know Peter Obi has sterling qualities based on his performance in Anambra State when he was governor. In fact, he was two-time governor, because the first time he was impeached and he came back and he performed very well. Everybody who was in Anambra State talked about Peter Obi. Then, of course, the last person will shock you, because the last person actually is part of the failure of this of this administration. The person I also think is Professor Yemi Osinbajo.
Okay, you mean the current vice president?
Vice president of the federation. Yes.
Okay.
Now, many people have been asking me, why am I supporting Yemi Osinbajo? I have said that APC has failed, and yet I am supporting somebody who is part of the failure of the government. And I say, yes, it's true. Yemi Osinbajo, as far as I'm concerned, of these three candidates I called, is the most qualified, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
He's been part of the failure. Now, Yemi Osinbajo was he was the vice president. He's the vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Everybody knows that vice president na spare tire.
Yes. Okay.
He doesn't call the shots. Now, this man, he has been part of Federal Executive Council for 7 years.
Yeah.
He knows the buttons. The buck did not stop at his table. He knows the buttons to press. He knows what to do. He knows the failures. He knows the right buttons and he knows the wrong buttons. He knows that they have been pressing some of the wrong buttons, and that is why things have not worked. He also knows the right buttons to press. And how do I know that he knows the right buttons to press? He was acting president for some time. And within that time, you could see a marked difference. I think it was about 3 months. There was a marked difference in administration. You see, one of the attributes
Before
of
you go on,
yes.
what's marked difference? If you give us an insight, what do you mean by
Okay,
that?
there was a marked difference because, of course, there was impunity. For instance, the DSS did so. There was an attack of the National Assembly. DSS sent people to attack the National Assembly, and
Okay.
the next thing, the man sacked the DSS boss.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We seem to be having a bit of a freeze again, but we will wait for the unfreezing and the unfreezing moment. So if you're still there, Emmanuel, we're just waiting for things to clear up a little bit. And for those of you who have been asking what the issue is, we're still talking about the upcoming elections in Nigeria. There's quite a lot of buzz going on across Africa, and one of the reasons why this is vital is the part that Nigeria plays in not just Africa, is the fact that Nigeria is a very important part of Africa, and whatever happens in Nigeria, creates something of a ripple effect across the whole continent. And of course, if the political situation in Nigeria is working, and we have the full-fledged democracy that we want, and it also kind of inspires so many other countries to pursue good governance. As you can see, the current buzz is also the fact that some of the countries are going backward into coups, into military rule. And perhaps this is not the direction that we want to go into. Perhaps this is not the direction that most African countries want to go into, like, sort of a reversal. Emmanuel is back. I'll put him back on now. Yes, welcome back, Emmanuel.
I apologize. This is one of the issues that we thought we would have solved in the last 7 years. Broadband issues, internet issues. One of the major challenges we have in Nigeria. When we talk about, for the last administration, we had a very forward-going Minister of Communications that was so interested in enlarging Nigeria's broadband. And when this administration, I remember her, the woman, she was a woman, and I knew she was very passionate about it. Unfortunately, 7 years down the line, we are still battling with the internet issues, still trying to keep up with the other parts of the world. So, as I was saying, now Oshibajo knows the right and the wrong buttons, and we saw that he pressed some of the right buttons. And I talked about the immediate sack of the DSS boss when there was the attack. If it was his principal there, I could have told you that they would have been in fact, have been swept under the carpet. There was an issue on whether to make someone a southerner, the Chief Justice of the Federation. And immediately the man became acting president. He signed. This man should become acting CGN. Why? There was a dilly-dallying because, there's so much tribal nepotism in this system in the last 7 years. So much nepotism. Now, this Oshibajo, everybody say, oh no, Oshibajo has been in charge of the economy. And so the economy is in a bad state. My dear, the fact that Oshibajo he heads the National Economic Council or something like that does not make him in charge of the economy. Are the ministers who are the drivers of the economy, are they answerable to him? They are not answerable to him. They are answerable to the president.
Indeed.
They are answerable. Oshibajo's own to advise. Oshibajo's own is just to advise. So let's say, for instance, imagine if Oshibajo was really in charge of the economy. When the central bank governor came out and banned cryptocurrencies. I don't know whether you can see me because
I can see. I can mostly hear you. But go ahead. Yes. Yes, you're on. You're here. Talk to me. I can see you, Manu. Okay, so as we continue to freeze, do remember that it is very possible for while we're waiting for Emmanuel to come back on, it is very possible for you to also subscribe to the Afrobeat calls. You can also get involved. You can make comments, and I will post your comments so that everyone can see what your thoughts are on this subject. So the main question is, do you think that Nigeria is ready for 2023? Are we ready to move on to true, proper democracy by electing someone who we feel is qualified, and not just party alliances or party voting in another party or giving somebody a favor because the person belongs to another party? So we'll bring Emmanuel back on to continue. Yes, you're back. Yes, go ahead, Emmanuel. We can see you. Hopefully, we can hear you also.
Yes. So I really apologize because of these issues. Be like this. Now, so he's not the person who calls the shots basically in the economy. I believe that. For me, I just believe that the economy has just been going on its own. There's really nobody controlling the economy. Because even the economic advisor, Doyin Salami, who is a very sound man, you have, if he gives advice, he's just an advisor or an advisor. It is left for the president to take it or not. And even Doyin Salami came in when it was already too late. Now, let me tell you the edge he has against the others.
Okay.
You see, when Buhari was coming in 2015, himself and his cohorts like Fashola and Tinubu were saying all kinds of things. Oh, they will make naira 1 naira to $1. They will do this. No, there will be no subsidy. They made all kinds of promises. And I say it's easier to make promises when you are not on the saddle. Yes. When you are not on that seat and you don't know all the complications of power on that seat. And that is what I see with many of these other candidates. I respect Peter Obi. I know that he will be a good president. But, my dear, when he comes, he's coming to learn the ropes.
Okay.
It will take him time to learn the ropes.
Now there's an argument. There's an argument. Yes. There's an argument that is floating around now.
Yes.
Right. Before I land with that, I just want to tell you that, take you back a little bit. There was a period when you and I were working at Dow Communications, right? Yes. And we had just met then. You used to do traffic. Do you remember that?
Yes.
There were times you used to do traffic. I started doing traffic when you were not around. I think it was Mr. Kelly Elisha that now called me once and said, hey, this fat head is not around. You're very good. He was talking to me. Say, hey, please go and do traffic for us. You're at the station now. You had not been able to come. I think there was some problems getting across to you. So I had to go and do traffic on that day a few times, so I loved doing traffic. It was really nice. But deep down, I knew that I felt a bit confined. I mean, I believe that I was quite good at what I was doing. I felt a bit confined that, okay, maybe this is not for me. I know I can do it, but perhaps this is not the role that I should be taking. Don't you see some level of...
able to do more.
Yes, I want to do something else. I'm probably better at doing something else. Maybe I'm better at being in front of the camera or being behind the camera or working on radio and doing other things. Do we have a similarity here where Oshibajo, for instance, is better at being a vice president than actually taking on the role of being the president? Do you think that might be a possibility, that we're trying to ascribe a position to him that he just might not be able to carry?
He's better. Sorry, I think your question is Oshibajo is better at being a vice president than being a president, isn't it?
President, yes. Would he be better?
I think you can. I think Oh, would he be better as president? I don't.
As vice
Let me get your
president?
question.
Okay. Do you think that we're ascribing a possible role to him that he might not just be able to carry? Because some people might just be better as as producers, or as, I'm using our own climate, I'm using our own
See,
environment as analogy.
I want to say that there's practically no role for the vice president. This country can run perfectly well without a vice president.
And you think he is the man for the job?
He's the man for president.
Okay.
He's not a man for vice president. Now, I see a vice president as an understudy role.
Okay.
I see a vice president as an understudy role because, yes, it's obvious that Oshibajo, I mean, Nigeria needs a man with intellect. He's a lawyer.
Finally.
He's a very brilliant lawyer.
Mm.
And some people think that because he's a lawyer, he cannot understand the economy. You don't need an economist to be president of Nigeria. Obasanjo, as far as I'm concerned, between the 1999 and now, Obasanjo remains my best president.
Why?
Why? Because Obasanjo is the one who was able to identify people, put square pegs in square holes. I begin to name them. Obasanjo was the one who found Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
Okay.
Obasanjo was the one who found the lady who was NAFDAC chairman, and many others. Aganga, who was trying to turn around the trade and industry. Okay, Aganga was actually good luck, but there were other people that Obasanjo identified. Now, good luck was another president that was good. Now, you don't need, let me tell you what was missing in good luck's government.
Okay.
There was no galvanizing force.
All right.
He was not a strong enough personality. He didn't have that strong enough personality to galvanize all his ministers and every sector to be able to drive it. Now, if you remember, he made Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala the Minister of Economy.
Yeah.
Actually, many people saw it as the de facto prime minister.
But wouldn't you find that as a handicap, though, if you're not able to galvanize your entire?
No. Now listen, which was good. It was good. She was the Minister of Economy. But it was only good if she had the powers. You can't have a title without the powers.
Okay.
When you are Minister of Economy, it means that there's really no aspect of ministerial position that is not about the economy. So it means that every minister should answer to you. If you were Minister of Finance and coordinating Minister of the Economy.
Okay.
Mark that word, coordinating Minister of the Economy. Now, he gave her that title, but it wasn't with any powers.
Yeah. Because
Gezani, who was Minister of Petroleum, was wondering, why would she answer to a fellow minister called Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala? Aganga, Olusegun Aganga, who was Minister of Trade and Industry, would ask himself, why would he answer to
Okay, we seem to have another freeze. We're hoping that Emmanuel will unfreeze quite soon. These are the issues that he has been talking about, that he keeps bringing up, about the fact that Nigeria needs to Nigeria definitely needs to work on so many issues that that concerns us in terms of the level of development. And of course, as you can see, the internet, access to the internet is one of them, electricity, schools, roads, and so many other things that Nigerians are depending upon. I mean, the country has been independent for so many years already, and still, these are basic issues that are still plaguing the country as a whole. How aware are you of the situation in Nigeria, especially in your own area? How aware are you of what you need to do? What agencies are getting across to you in terms of giving you information, giving you good information about what choices you should make? I think these are things that he will be discussing with us. We'll be talking about when he returns. Now, a quick reminder that this is the Afrobeat Cult, and we are live, and we are talking about the development, the growth, and the possible choices that you might have, and things that you can do to be a part of the event of 2023 coming up in 2023. And we're talking about the elections down ballot, also, not just the presidential. So he is back. So, Emmanuel, welcome back. Welcome back. You were away for a brief moment there. Welcome back. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah.
And guess what? I'm on the 4G network. I don't know whether
4G.
this is how 4G
Wow.
works.
4G should be way better than that. 4G should be way better than what it's delivering right now. So let's talk about I know you have certain candidates that you think would be suitable, that would do well for Nigeria, right? So let's talk about information. How do people get information about what kind of choices they can make? I hope you heard that question. Okay, he's still not back yet. So, although this is proving quite difficult, but it is a very interesting subject. So, we will wait for him to return, and then we can dig into it. Okay, while he's trying to. So, this has been a pretty difficult situation on both sides, but perhaps we might have to come back again to it. So, he is trying to figure that out. Well, he is trying to figure that out, and then are you back, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so I was asking.
Okay.
I was asking a question again that how do people, what is the access to information for people to be able to make these kind of informed choices? I mean, you seem to have good information because you're in the media. How do the normal people, everyday Nigerian, how do they get access to this kind of information that you have? Are there agencies? Are there bodies? Or is it just the same as it has always been, where they see a bag of rice and, certain amount of money to help them make those choices? How do people get informed?
Now let me tell you, Nigerians. Let's talk about information first. Nigerians have a lot of information. Information is, in fact, thank God for internet. When you and I used to work, there was no internet at that time. I mean, we had to read if we're going to do anything. But now you have the internet, and people have a lot of information across the country. And so it's not just because I'm a journalist. That's why I know these things. Some people know them, but you see, Nigerians, like I say, when you have to get to a point where you begin to go beyond some certain level of thinking. You have to get to a point to get beyond some certain level of thinking. I'll give you an example. Many Nigerians are still hooked on to the fact that, for instance, Bola Tinubu did so well in Lagos, in especially fighting the opposition. And yes, I give that to him. Bola Tinubu, if you want to talk about somebody, I was talking about Obasanjo being able to identify the good heads to use in his administration. Bola Tinubu is one man who can identify good heads. But my dear, Bola Tinubu was governor of Lagos State between 1999 and 2015. Between 1999 and 2015, 2015 is how many years ago? I mean, that's probably like I'm sure up to 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. So you ask yourself, the man is old. It's obvious. And many people still believe that Bola Tinubu will come and do that for Nigeria. Bola Tinubu does not even, between that 1999, if I haven't chosen, if you, he hadn't chosen to grow in your profession, if I hadn't chosen to grow in my profession, he probably you'll be wanting to go to do one AIT jams now, or I would still want to look for, okay, we have to do traffic report. But I have grown in my profession, and you can't grow in politics like that. You actually grow old in age. There are so many things that Bola Tinubu cannot do for Nigeria, and he is, well, they say health is of God. Yes, everybody. We do not need someone who would spend most of his time like this present president. This present president spent 1/3 of his 8-year tenure outside the shores of this country on medical trips. So you ask yourself, do we want another president like that? So Nigerians, some of them are, but you also must also appreciate the fact that Nigerians are into, they are loyal. You know, in politics in Nigeria, politics, somebody said, and there's a viral video that's been going out. He said, in Nigeria, loyalty comes first before competence. Loyalty comes first before competence. Now, for many people, they are loyal to Bola Tinubu. They don't care about his competence. They are loyal to him because this man is a thoroughbred politician. Who is the thoroughbred politician? Politics in Nigeria is local. So for anyone to be a thoroughbred politician, it means that you have your deep roots in the local scene. And that is who Tinubu is. Tinubu has his roots deep down in the local scene. He practically feeds people every day. But there are things hanging, there are issues hanging around his head. I can't hear you. I think your mic is
okay. So now you can hear me.
Now
you can hear me.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, that brings up an issue. Yeah, we keep talking about moving away from. I think in Nigeria it's called godfatherism.
Godfatherism.
Politics.
Yes.
Right. Does that bring him into the picture also? That's him for one, and then there's been so many. I had to do a bit of a deep dive so that I will be as competent as you in these issues. So I have noticed that quite a few of these candidates have been traveling around the country, going from one godfather to the next, to the next, to the next. There was one that...
are they godfathers? I don't want to say they are going for one.
Quote unquote, right?
They want to call them consulting with
the elders,
statesmen, elder statesmen.
Right. Yes. Let's call that. Let's be politically correct in that way. That is dirty politics, isn't it? That's the ugly side of it. So a lot of them have been traveling around the country. I saw one had gone to the former Babangida, for instance. Some of them have gone. So they've been going around the country. Isn't that what it's still about? Isn't that what the whole idea of
so that,
the current politics?
That is because these people, these elder statesmen, still hold much level of influence among the electorate. Okay. I told you that politics is local.
Yeah.
And so if it's like a brand ambassador, if I get a Mr. Rock, Dwayne Johnson, to come be a brand ambassador for SENEMA Productions.
Yeah.
And a rival company gets a Will Smith. You can imagine whose brand will sell more.
Yep.
Especially with the latest controversy concerning Will Smith. So that's how it is. They want, and Babangida being the Maradona he is, anyone that comes, he welcomes him. Oh,
Yep.
come. And,
All comers.
and that's how an elder statesman should be. We've come to tell you that we want to contest for presidency, and want to ask for your blessings. You have my blessings. That is what a royal father should be.
Okay.
And that is what an elder statesman should do. So, I mean, there is nothing wrong in going around. Everywhere it happens, consultations happen everywhere in the world in politics. It may not be as blatantly publicized like we do in Nigeria, but there are people outside in Finland, in the United States, in the United Kingdom. There are people, some people need to go see to say, okay, we need your support for this. Because not seeing them could also be, it could also
hamper your ambition.
Have the flip side for you.
Now, do we have like in a lot of more developed countries, do we have specific voting blocks that are especially strong? Like you have, like in America, using America as an example, you have the black votes, you have the Hispanic votes, you have the Pentecostal votes, you have, things like that. Do we have that in Nigeria currently?
In fact, we do not have them per se. The only voting block they only talk about is the northern votes. Okay. Because if you look at the hierarchy, the North have always had more votes than the South.
Do they actually vote,
and
though?
That's another topic on
issue entirely. Okay, we'll save that for some other time. Yeah,
we'll save that for some other time. But you see, so everybody wants to. The North is the beautiful bride. You want to court and woo the North, especially the Northwest. You want to court and woo the Northwest of Nigeria because they're a block on its own. The Northeast too, Northwest, Northeast, great voting blocks. But I know, just like you have the Pentecostal block, I know that the Christian Association of Nigeria, very good. I applaud it, and I'm hoping it works along with some Christians or with most Pentecostals and the Christian bloc. They're trying to create a Christian bloc because the North actually votes across religious lines.
Okay.
They vote along, not across, rather along religious lines.
Yeah. So if it's a Muslim, then
they are trying to. The Christian Association of Nigeria is trying to create a bloc. And if they succeed in creating that bloc, you will have about 10 million Christians, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Imagine having 10 million voters to your side. And if they are able to create that bloc, first there has to be a united force.
Yeah.
So if they're able to create that bloc and say, okay, now this is, for instance, we're going into the primaries of the election of the parties now. Primary elections for the primaries for the parties.
When is this?
It's all primaries are supposed to be concluded by May 3rd.
Okay.
May 3rd.
Okay.
I think May 3rd or June 3rd. I'm not sure. Yeah, June 3rd. I think. I'm not sure of the dates now, but I think it's June 3rd. Now the issue is, if the Christian Association of Nigeria is able to come up with a united force and goes on to say, you, Party A, if you want 10 million votes
of our votes,
10 million of our votes, produce. This is the kind of person we want as your as your candidate.
Yeah.
Not necessarily calling names, but give them some qualities.
Yeah.
And you do that for Party A, Party B, Party C, Party D, Party E. You go to all the parties and tell them these are the kind of people we want as candidates.
Yeah.
And any party that does not produce that, that one is out of the block. And let's say 3 of them produce it. Now you have to choose between the 3. And within yourselves, as a block, you now
Yeah.
say, okay, this person seems to be the most qualified of all this. Now, this happens everywhere in the world. You have just talked of blocks, because when you talk about this in Nigeria, everybody tells you that you are trying to bring in religion into politics. It's not bringing in religion into politics. It's trying to create a block
Yes,
that will be beneficial for you.
yeah, so that you're able to use your power to negotiate.
Influence. You
Yes,
become a
influence,
pressure group.
pressure group. Thank
Exactly.
you. That's exactly
Yes.
what I was looking for. Now, what
You
about the
become a
young
pressure
people?
group.
What about young people? Do they actually get involved in this? Because I mean, we're talking about the future of the country. How involved are they in this process? How aware are they? Is it just what Davido is wearing, or what Wizkid is driving, or what Burna Boy is his next show? Is that what concerns them the most? How do we get them involved in this process if nothing is being done now?
The young people are involved. Whether enough young people are involved is the challenge.
Okay.
But the young people are involved. I have a son who is 18 going on 19.
All right.
He follows politics in Nigeria, not just because his father is a journalist, because I'm sure if you were to ask him, he doesn't even like the journalism profession
Why?
and all that. But well, he's more of he's a conservative person. He's quite
Okay.
conservative, and he thinks journalists are too loud.
Okay.
So, but he follows politics. He
Yeah.
knows what is happening. Even my 16-year-old son follows politics. He knows what is happening. So I use them as an example for the young people of Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are interested because, see, forgive me if I'm going to speak pidgin. Buhari don't teach us, say, politics is very important.
Okay.
Because if you are not interested in who rules you, you will be ruined.
Yep.
And many people, even myself, didn't realize how much this means. Many people didn't know that it is necessary.
Yes. To get
If I could,
engaged. Yep.
to get involved. If I could, I would even go for an office. I mean, nothing stops me from going for an office.
That's true.
Because I know that many Nigerians don't know their councillors. They don't know their local government chairman.
Mm-hmm.
We want to know, but they take us for a ride because
Yep.
these politicians keep on. The other day, we had council elections in the FCT, the Federal Capital Territory. I couldn't go and vote. Why? Because I don't even know who is contesting. And at the end of the day, so the result is produced and say, oh, this person won. Who are you?
How did you get voted in?
How did you get there? Who did you talk to?
Now hold on before you continue. This just inspired a question. I feel that a lot of our politicians a lot of them are talking over our heads. A lot of them. There's more talk than substance. I'll give you one example. There's a popular musician now who is running. He ran, I think, last year for, I think, councillor of something, Banky W.
Yes.
You know that he's running again.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just hearing that.
Yes, I recently found out that he's running again, and I saw, just a short clip of the ad that he's doing. I could not make any sense of what he was talking about. So a lot of the politicians are talking over our heads. Maybe they are not addressing the people that actually need to be spoken to. Maybe the young people that we have, for instance, are not being told what they need to hear, not what they want to hear, what they need to hear, how their lives will be improved. Maybe that is where the problem is. What do you think?
I think It depends on what he's running for. If he's running for, which I believe, is it House of Reps or,
I think it's
House of Assembly?
Etiosa. Yeah, something like that. I think for
Etiosa,
the yes, I think it's Etiosa.
Etiosa,
Yeah,
and let's say it's the Assembly, let's say it's the
yeah,
House of Assembly or it's the
yeah,
House of Reps.
yeah,
Basically, he's going to be making laws. And what he should do is just try to convince his people that he will make laws that are beneficial to them. So
yeah.
he's not necessarily going to make their lives better directly. He's just going to make laws that is beneficial for them. That's what they should do. They are not the ones going to provide. It's not his duty to provide pipe of water. It's not his duty to provide. It's his duty to make sure they make laws that make the environment conducive, or make laws that encourage the government to do all these, provide all these amenities, which quite unfortunately in 2022 we are still talking about in Nigeria. Now, for Banking W, for Banking W,
yeah,
I'm afraid about what I told you recently, that politics is local.
yeah,
And many Lagosians accept the upturn it. They tried to upturn it in 2019 and it almost worked.
okay.
I think Buhari almost lost Lagos. If he won, it was just a very slim margin.
Yeah.
And that was because people came out to vote. Now, because for most Lagosians, I told you about the fact that how Tinubu is popular. I mean, how Tinubu's influence and his strings are so attached to many Lagosians.
Yeah.
Especially the local politicians and those who actually come out to vote.
Yeah.
Because when Tinubu says, this is not the person I want, that's the person I want, all of you go to him. I mean, now I just heard Government Advisory Council, I don't know where that came from Lagos, have endorsed Sanwo-Olu, the governor of Lagos, for a second term.
Okay.
Are they the ones to make him governor?
Governor, or is it the
well,
right of
somebody
people?
will say it's not. There's nothing wrong in endorsement. Yes, there's nothing wrong in endorsement. But if Lagosians feel that he's not the one who should be governor, then they should vote him out.
Yeah.
And we should stop all this endorsement and believing in endorsement. Because before they can endorse, I can tell you categorically that Tinubu has to say it is okay to endorse.
Emmanuel.
Because they didn't endorse Ambody.
Yeah.
Because Tinubu did not want him.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how it went down on that one.
That's how it went down.
Emmanuel, I want to ask you this. Those who live abroad, do they have any rights at all? Are they qualified to be part of this process? They don't live in Nigeria.
Well, the truth about it is that the electoral law that was passed, the National Assembly, in their own wisdom, decided that people abroad cannot be actively take part, except you come back into Nigeria with your PVC to vote. But you can continue to add your voice. The only challenge I have with many people abroad, don't always believe what you see on the internet.
Okay.
Don't always believe it, because a lot of it is propagandist. A lot of it is false. A lot of it is, and that's why I would rather you are more in tune with conventional websites, conventional newspaper websites.
Okay, like Daily Times and things like that. Yeah.
Yes, the Guardian websites and all that. This Day and all that. Than just taking a social media, whatever social media,
Facebook news.
Fake book news, exactly. Fake book news for me. And so I think that those in the diaspora can continue to add their voice and become big influence. For those who, I can assure you that Godwin Obaseki of Edo State won his second tenure because of the voice of people abroad. A lot of it depended on the people abroad who influence their people back home with their voice. So you have a voice. You can be part of it. You can be part of the process. You may not be part of the voting process, but you can be part of the process that leads to the voting process.
Interesting. So you seem to have already made up your mind in which direction, based on all the feedback that I'm getting from you, on where you want to take your votes to. What you're expecting from the future leadership of Nigeria. You seem to already have an idea in which direction you want to go to. And I'm going to let you go now. I know there's so many. We hopefully we are going to be able to continue to follow the process, and I will,
hope because there are a lot of unfinished. We had a lot of unfinished issues here.
Yes, we do. we will continue, like you mentioned before. I'll try to get the exact date, and you can also inform me. I'll try to get the exact date on when the primaries are taking place. It's something that we can talk about and follow.
No, the primaries are not all on one day.
Once. Yeah,
there are different days that are going to, but all primaries must end. I think it's June 3rd.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's June 3rd. I'm not sure, but I think it's June 3rd. All primaries must end there. But some primaries are holding May 3rd. I know at least 10 political parties have informed the Independent National Electoral Commission of their intention to have their primaries. So they're having it in different days.
Okay, so as something of somebody who knows what's behind the scene, who are the ones that you think that we should pay close attention to?
You should. Just today, the APC came up with the fact that now I told you of my preferred aspirants.
Yeah.
They are not yet candidates.
Yes.
They may not even turn out to be candidates. We are hoping that they turn out to be candidates. I know Kingsley Moghalu will turn out to be a candidate because he belongs to a party that is not very popular.
Yeah. Okay. So I see that a lot of you are still trying to get on this particular broadcast. We are still talking with Emmanuel right now, and I had said earlier that we're going to continue to follow the situation in Nigeria, and one major reason why we need to do that is because Nigeria is definitely a very important part of the African structure, and whatever happens in Nigeria does seem to have a lot of relevance across the whole of Africa and across the whole world. So we're bringing Matt back right now. Yes, sir.
Okay,
you're back.
So I was talking about hopefully we should have these as candidates.
Okay.
The APC came up today that they're doing indirect primaries. It makes the chances of my preferred aspirant maybe slimmer because
yes, so it's going to continue to happen, and these are things that hopefully the aspirants, this is something that we're going to talk to them about, that these are the conditions upon which that we probably will either vote for them or not vote for them. These are the kind of demands that we're going to be making, that Nigeria should step up its game, that the world is watching. Even the ones that don't live in Nigeria, we're watching, even though we're not able to actually vote or physically take part in what's going on in Nigeria, we're watching. And these kind of things are the things that are probably going to also influence the way we choose our leaders moving forward. So I was just talking about how the next government or the people that are aspiring, these are the kind of issues that we need to put on the table for them and say, hey, you need to start fixing issues like this. See, we keep breaking, and this is not something that should happen, because even in some of the smallest countries across Europe, in their villages, they have internet that works. So I don't see why Nigeria should not. There was something that came up quite recently about wanting to send from the UK. They wanted to send although the government, a lot of people, the opposition party in the UK kicked against it, as they wanted to send immigrants to Rwanda. And I'm wondering, Rwanda, didn't they just finish a bloody civil war a couple of years ago? How did they manage to get to such a status? And Nigeria is not even considered. So, but that's another issue for another day, I believe. So go ahead, Emmanuel. Let me not break. You're smiling. Yes, go ahead. We have a lot of grievances,
Yes,
a lot of
I lost a lot of breaks. So I heard you talk about Rwanda and all
yes,
that. That was the last thing I heard. Yes,
yeah.
yes, Rwanda has a better economy than us. So forget. Rwanda has a better economy right now. It's a better environment than us.
Yes.
Yes, there are other stories coming out from there, but basically it's better. Now,
Yes.
I was talking about Bola Tinubu having a good chance to,
Yeah.
based on the indirect primaries, because like I told you, politics is local,
Mm.
except there are other factors that may influence the indirect primaries. And the indirect primaries means that you have delegates coming to vote.
Yeah.
Delegates voting. Over 7,000 delegates from APC, for instance. I don't know what the PDP is going to adopt. Are they going to adopt zoning? Well, they say they are not going to zone yet. Nobody has talked about the zoning thing.
Yeah.
You have some top flight. I don't know what chances Peter Obi has, except they do it. They decide to zone to the southeast and have the southeast, every southeast, this thing fight for the rules, have the Southeast fight for the position. But I don't know really where it's not something we can really predict. It's not something, even the aspirants, I'm sure they can't even predict what's going to happen.
Where that's going to happen next. But we'll keep a close eye on everything that's going on. And like I said, we're going to call you back. We're going to do this again as time. So what you also need to do, because you're the one on the ground, so please just let me know. Say, Ehi, this is something we definitely need to talk about, because to be honest with you, unless you actually take time out to start digging up all this information, when you live outside Nigeria, it is really difficult to access. So it usually is a conscious effort on all our parts to dig in to find out what is going on. But before we do that, before I let you go, what is happening with SENEMA Productions? Please tell us what are you really about? That's one area I want you to tell me about. What do you do? Are you the head? Yes, you. Yes, I want to know about.
I didn't hear the question.
Okay, I said we're going to come back to this same issue as time continues, when things continue to happen. Did you hear that? Did you hear that one? Yeah?
Wow. This network.
Okay. Yes, the network. Okay. I want to close on SENEMA Production. Okay, so while he's trying to figure out and try to come back again to it, is probably quite difficult for him to sort this out, but we will come back to it. We're going to be talking about it again. The primaries are coming up quite soon in Nigeria. This is another issue that we are going to bring up and talk about. So the main thing is for all of you who are able to follow. I think it's very important that you are aware and don't just get lost in the system. Be part of the system. Be part of the change-making process. And, your voices will get heard. People will listen, and then you will also be able to make your own impact as things go by. Are you still there, Emmanuel? Do we have you? No, we don't. So on that note, I would like to just hold on. Let's see if we can get him back. No, we're not. Okay. Right. So based on that, I would like to say a big thank you to you for being a part of today's show. We have been trying to dig in to figure out what is going on, what is really going on in that country of ours called Nigeria, especially within the political terrain. The presidential election is coming up in 2023, and so much drama is happening as we speak. And we have been honored quite so to have Emmanuel Ohiomokhare with us. Are you there, sir? Or are you
Yes, I
still
am. I am.
you're still frozen in
Yeah.
time? So hopefully we have better luck next time. Emmanuel, I so much appreciate your time that you have spent. I know you're quite a busy man, and I was asking you about cinema production initially before we got cut off. Did you hear that? Okay, I guess we lost him again. So, Emmanuel, thank you very much for being a part of today's broadcast, for being a part of today's show. And when we do come back next time, we will be coming up and talking about how things have progressed with all the possible candidates for the upcoming presidential election. So, on behalf of myself and Emmanuel, a big thank you to you. And do remember, you can also be part of the Afrobeat cult. We don't just talk about music and culture, we also talk about the influences, the people that affect and influence everything that deals with everything else. So do subscribe, hit the like button, and always, if you have an opinion or comment about all the stuff that we've talked about, send it across and we'll get back to you ASAP, quite quickly too. On that note, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.